right, so we're live. I'm going to make sure that it's also live on the website. So we're good to go. All right, so welcome, Cindy. Today we have our first fireside chat, and I'm really excited because I would love to introduce you to everybody. So Cindy is the author of The Incidental Guru and also the upcoming Magic of the Mind, The Alchemy of Belief. And that's super exciting because after this chat, this discussion, we have a link that's underneath this video. So you can get an excerpt of it, a PDF where you can actually walk through step by step what we talk about. And also to go on about Cindy's work, she has her first novel for young adults. It's called The Scorpion from the Myriad series, and it's coming up this fall. Super exciting. And throughout her career, she has a very special interest in creativity and also limiting beliefs. So this is definitely a topic that is not new or foreign to Cindy at all. I bet it's something that you often work with your clients on. So welcome for being here and for sharing your knowledge with us. So
Thank you, Natty, for having me. It's so interesting, the whole concept of how magical the mind is and how some people just seem to be able to achieve great things in their lives and they just seem limitless, and other people really, really struggle. And being a psychotherapist and executive coach for years, I see both kinds of people. Those who are just, flying high, doing whatever, and the sky is the limit. And I also work with people who have really, really struggled with their lives. And what everything seems to boil down to, the fundamental issue for everyone is beliefs. What you believe is what you become. And so I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. I've had my share of limiting beliefs, and I've had my experiences that have allowed me to step out of those limiting beliefs and grow in ways that I never imagined was possible. So that really allowed me to help people that were struggling to find the binds that keep them held back and to learn how to let those go and begin to enjoy life in a much greater, more open, more flexible, and more limitless way, achieving the things that they always wanted to.
because one of the ways I see beliefs is almost like a rule that we live by, isn't it? It's like a certain rule or guideline or idea that we're always trying to make sure that we meet, or that we're living or behaving in this box or in this framework which he kind of put on top of us. Is that also how you see it? So, in your opinion, where do these beliefs come from, limiting or positive ones? How did beliefs come into our lives? How did we place these frameworks onto ourselves?
Well, your word use of rule is really accurate, because what happens is as we are growing up and we're developing, we learn and experience things, and it's through those experiences and through the rules of our parents and the school and society at large that we create our own rule-based system that is designed to keep us safe, to keep us secure, to keep us in a way of knowing or of knowing what to expect in life. We have limitations placed on ourselves so that we keep safe. So we don't just, fly off the edge of a cliff. We kind of get to the edge of a cliff and we stop. And so that's what rules and beliefs are for, is to keep us safe, to keep us certain. We create rules. For example, the world is a great place. Or another rule might be, the world is a really hard and mean place. Those are psychological rules that we create, or I'm sorry, those are global rules that we create that we then tend to live by. So those of us who think the world is a horrible place and people can't be trusted and the world is a hard slog, they have a much harder time in life much less enjoyable time in life than those who believe that the world is a magical place, or the world is easy, or the world is filled with loving people. Um, that's a much more enjoyable way to live life. A friend of mine just told me a joke the other day that he saw on Facebook, and I think that it kind of accurately really gets to the heart of beliefs. It said, intelligent people are those that really struggle to get ahead, and average intelligent people don't know how to care so much of what they're doing, and so they really grow. Sorry. So they really just do whatever and
Mm-hmm.
can enjoy life because they're not so worried about what they're doing. Whereas super intelligent people will worry about what they're doing and how they're being in the world. So they tend to be the ones that keep themselves limited,
Yeah.
although not
And what
always.
I Yeah, and what I love about what you said is about, the world, and that is, for me, exactly how beliefs function. It applies to every single situation that we're in. Doesn't matter where we are, what time it is, but as long as we believe in that belief, or in our conversation, you say you take it as truth, this belief, then it applies to every single situation, our personal life, our work life, in relationships, in every every single part of our lives. We just act it out. We start, whether to hold ourselves back or to completely move forward. But there's almost no place where it doesn't apply to if we take it as truth, as we really take on a
Absolutely.
belief.
The belief permeates our entire being and everything we do. We become what we believe. And for example, I worked with Olympic athletes, and they so believe in their abilities. And that's what keeps them going when everyone else would stop. They train harder, they work harder, they just keep on going beyond what normal people would do, and that's how they become Olympic athletes. But their belief in themselves is what allows them to accomplish all of that. And then when I've worked with people who have had unfortunate experiences, and they take those experiences as their reality, as their truth, as their belief about themselves, then their lives are held back. And that's what they believe that they deserve, or that's what they believe they're capable of. And it permeates everything, their relationships, their work lives, everything about us gets created through our beliefs.
And so, from your example, with clients, or just from your experiences in your work, how would you recommend people substitute a belief which may be limiting at the moment to someone which is actually beneficial to them? So, where is this choice, and what exactly can we do to actually lift ourselves up and be able to not only take on a new belief, but also to make it sticky, to let it stay?
Yeah. Yes, because we all know those momentary experiences of feeling motivated or feeling inspired. And we can feel like we can just, run the world. And then a day later, it's like, oh, yeah, no, it's not me. Wasn't meant to be. So what does one supplant one belief for another? And you used the word truth, and that's a key to beliefs, because we believe our beliefs as if they are fact. And beliefs aren't fact. Beliefs are not true fact. They're just beliefs, and they're something that we've adopted, an idea, an assumption, an expectation, a conclusion that we've drawn based on our own experiences. And so if we are to change a limiting belief that's holding us back, that's not able to, that's not serving us anymore, not allowing us to grow as far as we are capable of growing, there's several things that you can do. And probably the easiest one is kind of behaving into the belief. And that is allowing yourself every day to challenge yourself. And like you have the 21-day challenge that you're doing, which is wonderful. And what that challenge does is asks you to every day challenge something fundamental about what you believe about yourself. And when you're challenging yourself every day, you're beginning to shift what you believe inside, shift what you're experiencing. The more positive experiences you have, the more likely your belief will begin to shift inside as well. But we also have really what I call sticky beliefs or convictions. And those are they can sometimes be sort of hard to shift. And in that case, I go back to as and mindful meditation and wisdom meditation. And what that is really looking deeply inside at what you really believe about yourself and about the world and about others, and really examining those beliefs while at the same time not believing the beliefs, not believing them as fact, just examining what the contents of your mind is. And when you examine the contents of your mind, you begin to learn about what those beliefs are and how you might be using those beliefs to hold yourself back, to keep a comfortable life. And when you begin to do that, then you can shift. That's the dawning of awareness. And as soon as you have awareness of something, you have the possibility of changing. And you take that awareness and you take that insight and you grow the insight so that you really go into a deep inquiry into what it is that's keeping you in those beliefs that are not serving you any longer. And you start to move through that and it becomes time to change. And if the beliefs are really sticky, you might want to get a therapist that can help you through that. Hypnotherapy is really a much faster and very productive way of changing beliefs because it bypasses the conscious mind and enters deeply into the unconscious mind where our beliefs are held. And that's what makes them sometimes a little sticky.
Right. And I must say that in order to inquire and to dig deep and to notice or acknowledge the beliefs that come up, or to become more aware by observing what's actually happening, I think that needs quite a bit of stillness, or to be in a space where you can actually allow yourself to sit with it. Maybe not, maybe for beginners or for the very first step, maybe don't do it at the Christmas dinner with all your family and relatives where it's a very turbulent environment. But I would suggest lots of space and stillness where you actually feel like you have the time and space to feel it deeply, and also giving yourself enough space to not judge your beliefs. Then it's then we're creating a cake when we're actually trying to cut pieces away. So I guess it's like awareness of what's already there, but also noticing, okay, how am I reacting to this? Am I judging the belief now, or what else is coming along, and what am I here to do? What's my focus? Or what we mentioned last time was actually intention. So let's
Yes.
talk about this a little bit more, because if the intention is to actually substitute a limiting belief with something positive, then we do need an intention, don't we? What are your thoughts on that, Cindy?
Oh, you've said so much there. Wow. You took where I was talking and you took it like a level deeper, and in talking about the deeper inquiry into what you're doing and the stillness. So I'm going to just address that very as quickly
Yes.
as I can first. And we share the same belief that we have to be still in order to really listen to our internal selves. And I think that that's true for most people, and it may not be true for all people. I'm not sure about that. It certainly is my belief, and it's certainly my experience. I have to be still. But there are some people who swear to me that the more still they are, the further they get away from themselves, and they just have a very different way of being. So I guess I just have to trust that that's true for them. Now about intent. Intent is such an important part of life. We don't even get up in the morning without intent. We don't feed ourselves without intent. We need intent to actually do anything. It is the energy that drives every movement, every thought. There's a wonderful phrase that the Irish have, or saying, that goes like this: you can't till the soil by turning it over in your mind. And I love that phrase because so often when we think about beliefs, we think about changing only our minds. And that if we believe magical things, then magical things are going to happen in our lives. And it's true that belief sits in our minds, and it's true that our minds are incredibly magical, but we are of the material world, and so we do need to move, and we need to move with intent, and we need to behave, and we need to be and do. So the intention is a really important part of breaking through a belief. You intend to do something greater than what you've done so far. So you're breaking the bonds of something that's holding you back, and you actually do need to do something about that. You can't just sit back and go, oh, I wish I was doing a webinar with Natasha Koo, and you don't even know her yet, or or you've not talked to her, you've not said, let's do this. Now, sometimes magical things do happen, and all of a sudden you would reach out to somebody who hadn't asked and said, hey, would you like to speak? And those are those magical moments that are really fun and really interesting, and they do happen more and more the more intent you get on achieving something. But you have to make the steps. And if you
Yeah.
don't make the steps and you don't follow up the intention, then less things happen for you, that's for sure.
Yeah. One thing that comes to mind, a really clear image, because I'm so visual, is almost like when we intend to have a more positive or more beneficial belief, it's as if we're laying out this track or
Yeah.
this layout of the design of what we want to create. But it's through every action or our behavior that we build each brick on top. And the more we act in this direction towards this intent, the stronger this belief becomes as we stack it up with our living or embodiment, really. So that's the image that comes to mind very clearly, is that it's a marriage between these two, is this intention and awareness first, and that builds the foundation or this framework, and then we need to act upon it or be it simply, and then kind of stack the bricks or the action one by one.
And then the experience begins to build. And as you experience yourself in more positive ways, doing more things that can challenge you and take you to higher heights, that experience then confirms a new belief, because the old belief is probably still under there, kind
Oh
of,
yeah.
waiting to go, see, I told you so. I told you you couldn't do that. And of course, you know
Yeah.
what, we do fall down a lot of times as we're learning new things. And
Yeah.
that's where resiliency and persistence comes in, which is, for another talk that I would love to do, because resiliency and persistence is such a key element in doing anything.
Yeah.
But so if you come up with a moment where your old belief pops up and goes, see, I told you, you shouldn't have tried that. Now you've made a fool of yourself or whatever. Then you just keep going. You go, okay, yeah, I tripped. It's okay. I stand up and go ahead. We as human beings are designed to trip and fall, and we are designed to stand back up and try again. Anybody who's been around a baby will know that babies, when they're learning how to walk, they just walk all over the place, and when they fall, they just go ha ha ha, and they stand up and they try it again, and they keep trying until soon, without them even knowing it, they walk naturally, and they walk everywhere, and they stop falling, and it's just this marvelous evolution of try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try. Oh, and there it works, it works, it works, it works.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I love the encouragement, because that is needed especially when you take on a very new or drastic belief or a completely new change in direction, this motivation or this realization that it's if we're driving a car, we might do a lot of U-turns and go get lost, but at least we're moving in that direction. We know we want to go that way, and we are moving in that direction. So to wrap things up, because I know there will be this giveaway of the PDF, which is the excerpt of your new book, The Magic of the Mind, The Alchemy of Beliefs. So as this takeaway, or for those who want to read through it, go through the exercises, answer the questions, what would be the one thing that you would recommend that people do, or what would be your last, I guess, advice or words for people who are on this path and getting to know their beliefs?
I think that the most important recommendation I can ever do for anyone, and it has worked for myself, is to challenge yourself in different ways every day. And as you challenge yourself in new ways, you create greater flexibility in your mind, and you learn how to use your fears to grow beyond where you currently are. So you keep on growing. And that would be probably my best advice for anyone, is to keep going, challenge yourself in a new way every day.
Wonderful. I love those words. And so, would you like to share your contact information or where people can find out more about your work, especially your new books coming out and all that?
Okay, I have two websites, and
Mhm.
one is called Cindy Stone at, or that's my email, www.incidentalguru.com is my old website, and I'm building a new website, so it's kind of in flux at the moment, and it's imagineinspireengage.com.
All
And
right,
if you
perfect.
need to send me an email, it's Cindy Stone at either one of those websites.
Awesome. So there you have it. I'm really glad that people are able to reach you, follow your amazing work also into the future. So there we go. And thanks for everyone who has joined us, who may have watched the replay. And make sure to reach out if you have any questions about the PDF, or if something is unclear or anything that you want help it with. Just write me at natasha@femininenspace.com. Ask us at the Facebook group. I mean, so it's if you want just to join us, it's a closed group, and you can maybe even share experiences of how it has been to walk through the steps in this PDF, which Cindy has so brilliantly created. Then feel free to share it. You can also just hang out with us and join or request access at femininetribe.com, and we'll be in there. So thanks a lot, Cindy, again for being here, and I can't wait until 2 Sundays from now where we have our second fireside chat. So goodbye, everybody.
Thank you and goodbye.
All right, off we go.